Welcome to this week's edition of The Gun Doctor. According to a recent Gallup poll, the absence of a high-profile mass shooting in the U.S. in 2020, the virus, civil unrest, and the presidential election campaign, Americans are less likely than they have been since 2016 to call for increased gun control. The latest majority, 57% in the U.S., who call for stricter laws covering the sale of firearms, marks a 7 percentage point decline since last year. At the same time, 34% of U.S. adults prefer that gun laws be kept as they are now, while 9% would like them to be less strict. Gallup has been tracking the public's view on this measure since 1990, when a record high 78% of Americans supported stricter laws for gun sales as the nation's crime rate was rising. A majority of Americans held that position until 2008. Support then fell to a low of 43% in 2011, when an equal number said gun laws should be kept as is, but calls for stricter gun laws increased sharply to 58% in 2012 after the massacre at Sandy Hook Elementary School. Since the early 1990s, Americans' preferences for tougher gun control have generally peaked in the wake of prominent mass shootings and waned as the memory of each fades. A recent example was the 2018 school massacre in Parkland, Florida, after which support for increased gun control hit 67%. Support remained near that level last year in two readings taken after mass shootings in Dayton, Ohio, and El Paso, Texas, on consecutive days in August. There are sharp differences in views of gun control within a number of key demographic groups in the latest findings from Gallup's annual crime poll, conducted September 30th through October 15th. Majorities of women, Democrats, independents, those who do not own guns, residents of the eastern and western U.S., and city and suburban residents all support stricter gun laws. At the same time, these groups' counterparts are more supportive of keeping gun laws as they are now or making them less strict. Among these groups, the largest gap in support for more stringent gun laws is for partisans. 22% of Republicans favoring stricter laws for gun sales is the lowest for the group over the past 20 years and represents a 14-point drop since 2019. Meanwhile, percentages of Democrats and independents calling for more gun control are near the highest record by Gallup since 2000. The 63-point gap between Republicans and Democrats is the highest on record over the past 2 decades. Americans' support for a ban on the possession of handguns at 25% is near the lowest on record in Gallup's 40-year trend. The latest reading, which is down 18 points from its 1991 high, is a slight decline from last year's 29%. Currently, 74% of U.S. adults say such a ban should not be put in place. While there is a 31-point gap between the views of Republicans and Democrats on this measure, less than half of Democrats, 41%, support a handgun ban. In a year that has seen record-high gun sales, Americans' appetite for gun control is the lowest it has been since 2016. There has not been a major mass shooting in the U.S. since mid-2019, which may explain the decline in support for stricter gun laws, given that the trend on this measure has shown that such events tend to drive public opinion. In addition, there has been a sharp drop in Republican support for stricter gun laws over the past year as the nation has dealt with a pandemic, civil unrest, and the presidential election. Support for firearm ownership remains high at Smoke and Gun Works. Come on in, take a look around at the area's largest selections of handguns, rifles, and shotguns. Buy, sell, or trade for all your shooting needs at Smoke and Gun Works, 8785 North Baileyville Road, Foreston, Illinois. For The Gun Doctor, I'm Tim Bivens.